What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with some more Trails of Cold Steel. Last time we finished off our activities in Legram and made it to Garrelia Fortress, where we're going to be spending the last 2 days of our field study. We'll spend the rest of today and then all of tomorrow there, which is pretty crazy because that's the longest field study yet, but I guess that means we'll be heading back either tomorrow night, so Tuesday night, the 31st. I don't actually remember. Does August usually have 31 days? I'm actually curious. Let me check. Yeah, August usually has 31 days, so August 31st, Tuesday, we'll be here, and then either the 31st or I guess the 1st of September, we'll be heading back to our academy, which it's felt like we've been gone for a while, so that'll be nice. It'll definitely feel like a while once we're done here. But yeah, enough rambling on, so we have some time to kill before the field study begins, so we're going to tour the fortress and see what this guy has to say. These days I find myself looking forward to mealtime so I can read letters from my family while I eat. It sure ain't the food that puts a smile on my face, that's for sure. I mean, looking at your plate, I can see why. I don't think I could keep this slop down if I didn't have these letters to take my mind off it. That's why I couldn't be in the military. I wouldn't be able to eat food like that. Okay, so I guess every student is probably a required dialogue option. Emma? Are you taking a rest, Emma? I did take a short walk around, but everything about this fortress is so imposing. It made me feel a little faint. Haha, I feel you there. Look at Emma now. It's hard to believe she's the same person who almost single-handedly guides through that castle. Reen? Nah, never mind. But there is one more thing that's been bugging me lately. Ever since we arrived in Legram, I feel like just out of the corner of my eye, I catch glimpses of the small black cat following us. Or black shadow. But ever since we got to the fortress, I haven't seen it. Really? Maybe you were possessed by something. Possessed? Yikes, that's an unsettling thought. It is, isn't it? Ew, I'm glad I told her to go back when we reach Soldic. Uh-huh. Alright. You'll come clean eventually, Emma. The briefing room. Sarah Kyokan? Oh yeah, Tolvo gave me a call about what happened in Legram. So you had a mechanical monster show up outside the city limits? Yeah, Tolvo looked pretty concerned when we first mentioned it to him, too. Do you know anything about them? Well, I'm no stranger to the group that... Okay, so they are by the Society. I'm no stranger to the group that makes them. They go by the name Ouroboros. They're a secret society... You're just... Okay, come out with it. They're a secret society of sorts that acts in the shadows all across the continent. The secret society... We don't know how many members there are, or what they're capable of. Honestly, we don't know much about them at all. What we do know is they have access to technology more advanced than most cutting-edge research institutes, and that they've been behind several crises that have threatened to shake the foundations of entire nation-states. And these people are who made the monsters? If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I'd find it hard to swallow, but there's no denying what we saw out there. Heh, well, you don't need to come to grips with it just yet. We call the mechanical monsters, like the ones you just fought, archaisms. And lately, it seems like an awful lot of them have made their way onto the black market. There's been one sighting after another these days, all over the Empire and beyond. Wow, that's heavy. Does that mean there's a chance they might be plotting something here in Erebonia? Just in your opinion, I mean. Well, that's a tricky thing about them. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all. There have been cases where we know they put archaisms out in the wild purely to test their abilities, for example. Still, it's something to keep in the back of your mind, at least. Right, I'll be sure to let the others know, too. Obviously, all of that is going to mean nothing to somebody who this is their first Trails game. Like, you're going to be like, oh, Ouroboros. Well, that's kind of odd. It's a pretty big thing to mention for a first game. But obviously, if you've played everything up till now, you'll... Obviously, we dealt with them in... Sky, mostly in Sky second chapter. I mean, obviously Leve was in the first game, but we didn't know he was part of Ouroboros in the first game. But yeah, to people who this is their first Trails game, that's not going to mean much of anything. They're just going to be like, oh, there's a secret society behind those mechanical monsters. I'd heard about the fortress of my father, but seeing it in person really drives home its incredible scale. Oh yeah, your father helps train the Imperial Army in swordsmanship, doesn't he? I can see why he's so busy if he's going around training all the soldiers in places this massive. Indeed, I feel like the reality of that is finally sinking in for me as well. I have no idea how his teachings are actually being applied, though. Perhaps we'll have the opportunity to find out during today's military training exercise. I'm looking forward to it. The soldiers here seem pretty well trained. Pretty well equipped too, like you'd expect from the Empire's biggest fortress. You need to put in some serious prep time if you wanted to topple it. Fee, I'm not sure that's something you should say within earshot of the soldiers. Hee, old habits die hard. Uh-huh. So it looks like that's everybody. Oh no, we got 2 exclamation points up here. Alright, let's take a look. Instructor Neidhart. So you're the students who have come to tour the fortress. Yes, sir. He's wearing an officer's uniform. I wonder if he's... This is Lieutenant General Walter, commander of Garrelia Fortress. He also serves as a division commander for the 5th Armored Division, which is stationed here. I apologize for not greeting you sooner, sir. Thank you for granting us the opportunity to tour the fortress. It really is an honor. Well, at least you aren't lacking in manners. Hardly built like a soldier, though. I'm in school. What? I have my doubts that you'd be able to endure the military's training regimen with a physique like that. Are you sure you're training them properly, Major? My apologies, sir. Though I hear the Academy has a former bracer as their combat instructor, they must really be scraping bottom. I've heard of the Purple Lightning before, of course, but a bracer is still a bracer. Well, he seems to have the same mindset as the military did back in Libero. Leaving such an important role in the hands of a civilian is ridiculous. The famous Thors isn't what it used to be. Well, no surprises here. It's like he fills in every box for a checklist for a stereotypical army soldier. Anyway, as Fortress Commander, allow me to welcome you to Garrelia. Keep in mind, though, that we're constantly on alert for potential threats from the east. I have no problem with your class conducting your field study here, but see that you don't get in the way. Of course, sir. Very well, I'll take my leave here. I have business to attend to. Ew, he's certainly strict. While he is responsible for keeping one of the Empire's most vital defensive fortifications running smoothly, considering the ongoing tensions between the Empire and Republic, you should be grateful he allowed you to come at all. I won't forget it. Now, I'm afraid I must excuse myself as well. You're welcome to tour the rest of the fortress, but don't try to enter the command center. Of course, good luck with your work, instructor. I'll see you later, then. Ugh. Man. Surprised Rean was able to hold his tongue so much with all the bad-mouthing that guy was doing about Sarah. Alright, let's check out the freight platform if we're allowed out here. Okay, so this is where the train goes through. It's pretty much built like the other bases like we have in Crossbell. You know, the 2 bases on each side. Guess we'll try going down here. Ah. The tank garage, huh? Seems like this is the hangar for the tanks and armored cars. It's kind of staggering to see so many of them lined up in one place. Might have to agree. Alright, so who's down here? Oh, Elliot and Alisa. I'm not looking forward to this. You've never seen any military exercise before, right, Green? Yeah, this will be my first time. I take it you have then? Yeah, my dad showed me one the last time he brought me out here. He really does want me to join the military, but I really don't think I'll ever be suited for it the way he is. I get where you're coming from. The more I hear about his dad, the more curious I get. I'm not entirely sure how to feel seeing so many accents lined up like this. The Reinfort Company makes these, don't they? Unfortunately so. I'm sure they'll be using them for this military exercise too. As far as I can tell, they'll be pitted against the older automated models. That sounds pretty brutal. The older tanks won't stand a chance. Well, that's kind of the point. They want to show off how easily the accents dominate them. Well, you don't get the chance to go eyes on with this stuff every day. I'll take the opportunity for myself to see how competent they are. That's just like her. Guess we'll go back up here. This is where we were before. I feel like running in the fortress is probably frowned upon. Flight port. So this is where all the air carriers come in. Looks like this is the fortress's airport. There might come a day where I find myself in a military airship. It's just so weird because you look at the military, it's like mostly people with guns. Like obviously it's not everything, but most of the people we've seen so far just use guns. You don't really see many of them with swords. Or you get like people like this guy, they have like the spear guns. But Reen is an 8 leaves 1 blade person, which doesn't mean he can't be in the military. I mean, obviously Cassius doesn't fight with the sword anymore, but you know, he just uses a staff, but he's in the military. But I feel like he's an extreme exception. Crazy, it really is night and day. Yeah, it's hard to imagine two places more diametrically opposed. What's wrong, you two? Well, we were just talking about how different this place is to Jirai. Jirai was super lively, but this place... I think Crow's having withdrawals now that he's somewhere without easy access to a casino at all times. Haha, I can imagine. Seems like everyone's talking about Jirai these days, though. Was it really that amazing? It was. I didn't know what to expect with the recent annexation by Erebonia, but everything looked fine to me. It has offices, an entertainment district, and all the people I saw were thoroughly enjoying themselves. I'd go as far as to say they're happy to be under control of the Imperial government. To be under the control of the Imperial... Wait, what? Oh, I'm reading control too early. To be under the Imperial government's control. I don't know if I go that far. Oh? A little bird told me Chancellor Osborne was the one behind the annexation in the first place. It also told me that he used pretty forceful tactics to get them to agree. And of course, most of the tax money takes a brand new detour straight into the Imperial government's pockets. I wouldn't be surprised if he made the annexation happen just to fatten his pocketbook. But paying taxes is a citizen's duty. It's only natural that they do so now that they're under Erebonia's protection, right? Sounds like this is a pretty complicated issue. So have we talked to everybody? Yeah, I think we talked to everyone in Class 7. I assume something's gonna happen once we enter the building again. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm missing somebody. Who would I be missing? Oh, I haven't seen Eustace yet. I wonder where he's at. I mean, he's gotta be somewhere. You've only been granted permission to explore certain parts of the left wing. Everywhere else is off limits. If it's any consolation, there's not much worth seeing in the right wing. To be honest, just mostly storage rooms. I don't know where to look for Eustace, though. We already went down to the motor pool. Maybe there's like another exit that I didn't look at in here. Ah, here we go. Oh, let's not get too turned around. Wow. Yeah, look at this. Really is an army base. Another train going through. I wonder if that's the train that made its way to Crossbell and is now coming back. I can't believe the size of this place. Oh, given that uniform, you must be one of the students from Thor's. Feel free to look around all you like, but try to stay out of our way. We're all incredibly busy at the moment. So if you don't mind, I'd like you to make your way to the corridor over there instead of hanging around here. Understood. Thank you very much. Might as well head over there. Wait, where did I end up? Okay. Seems there's more people I didn't talk to. Oh yeah, Gaius was also... Oh, and Millium, of course. Gaius, are you okay? I'm just kind of shocked by how different the atmosphere here is from Zender Gate. Well, it is a major military base right on the border of Crossbell. I never imagined it'd be quite this big, though. This place is such a departure from the Zender Gate that I can hardly believe this is the same military. Although perhaps this is the true face of the Imperial Army. This fortress is the very definition of oversized, and that's ignoring the excessive display of military power. I imagine that the posturing is meant to show the Karuzan Provincial Army that they could crush them on a whim. I forgot what this place probably means for you and your family, I suppose. While I don't agree with my father's actions, I can't say I'm comfortable with this fortress's presence either. In fact, I find it hard to believe that anyone could sleep peacefully near a fortress like this. I assume we don't have to worry about Millium. Like, we don't have to tell her, hey, you know, don't act up, because if she acts up, it just falls on Osborne to take the blame for that. Aw, I guess you can't see it from here after all. We'd be able to see it from where the railway guns are, but they'll get mad if I get too close to them. What are you up to now, Millium? You know the huge Orcus Tower where they're holding the trade conference? I'm trying to get a good view of that. Oh yeah, they mentioned it in the Imperial Chronicle and on the radio. Can you actually see it all the way from over here? That'd be incredible. Would I ever lie to you? Wish I could have gone with Grams instead of being stuck on some stupid field study. Why'd you join Class 7 then? Speaking of which, she was just saying how fun it was, too. They're going to be holding a keynote session there tomorrow. I wonder what they'll be talking about during it. Most people are thinking it's just so they can decide on which finance rules and stuff. Or decide on finance rules and stuff for Western Zemuria. But I think it's really going to end up being about who Crossbell belongs to. Knowing Gramps, he might even try to get Crossbell to become part of Erebonia. Seriously? The prince is going to be there too, so he'll probably try to shake everyone up a bit. Unbelievable. Toa's there too, though, so here's hoping things go well. Well. Oh, we can't even go anywhere here. I guess head back, I guess? Well, I guess I'll go this way, because I didn't go all the way through here. I can't think of anyone else I'd need to talk to, though. Okay, maybe not this way. Unless I have to go back to a certain area. There we go. The bulletin is to inform all Thor students that preparations for today's military exercise are now complete. Please assemble in the hangar immediately. Your transport is standing by, I repeat. That's Instructor Neidhart. The time must have passed more quickly than I thought. I suppose I should start making my way to the hangar. Maybe I'll run to the others along the way. We boarded the armored cars and set off toward the proving grounds. Oh, so we're going to be watching from inside a tank, huh? Why did they have to swing around like that? It's not like there was anything in our way. The inside of the armored cars was narrow and cramped, and the smell of machine oil hung in the musty air. The cars shook and rattled over the uneven grounds, tumbling us around like an iron coffin on wheels. Eventually, after enduring 10 minutes of jaw-rattling travel, unable to even peek outside at the scenery, we finally arrived at Garrelia Fortress's military proving grounds. Well, that's good, at least. Military training ground, Garrelia Fortress Annex. Alright. Man, if they decided to start shooting at us, we'd be dead. Wow, Akzen main battle tanks. There are plenty of older model tanks out there too. It even looks like they have airships here. Oh yeah, like the ones we saw in Nord. Welcome. Oh. So that's Elliot's dad. I don't see the family resemblance. Looks like the hair made the jump from father to son, though. Reporting, Lieutenant General. Very good, Neidhart. And Instructor Veilstein, I believe, pleased to meet you. It's an honor to make your acquaintance, Lieutenant General Craig. Allow me to extend my deepest thanks for agreeing to cooperate with us during the Academy's curriculum today. Think nothing of it. Many of these fine youngsters may one day hold positions in the Imperial Army after all. Besides, I owe a lot to old General Vandyck. Ah, and these must be... What a piercing stare. So this is Craig the Red. Elliot, my boy! It's so good to see you again. Huh? What? What? I mean, that's pretty much what my reaction was when I first did this, because from Elliot's backstory, he seemed like a real, like, war-hardened, like, general, like, never cracking a smile at anything. But then, look at this. It must be half a year since I last saw you. How have you been? That's a sharp-looking uniform you got, too. I've seen the photos, but it looks even better on you in person. Dad, come on. Heh, you've still got a long way if you want to put on some real muscle. There's a part of me that hopes you'll stay my little cherub forever. But you're a man of Erebonia, and men of the Empire must be strong, stout, and ready for action. It was for your own good as a man that I held back my tears and enrolled you in the military academy. Dad, I can't breathe. Neidhart, I feel like everything I've been told about him was a lie. There do seem to be some differences from the stories. You kidding me? He seems like a cool guy. What a delightful commanding officer you have, Major. Words fail me. Dad, knock it off. I'll tell Fiona. Moving right along. Yeah, so I need some... That needs to be cleared up. That's not the dad we were told about. I'm Lieutenant General Olaf Craig, commander of the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I've been entrusted with the role of overseeing today's joint military exercise. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Likewise, sir. It's a pleasure, sir. You got one heck of a dad, Elliot. Believe me, I feel it in the bones. Now, let me give you a brief rundown of what will be happening. This exercise will consist of a simulated battle conducted by 2 of our armored divisions. Armored regiments at the formation center, infantry, armored cars, and airships will work in tandem, using their maneuverability to get the fullest to obliterate the targets. As our targets today will be using previous model tanks that have been decommissioned from service. Autopilot functionality will allow them to evade and return fire, but they have only been armed with paint bullets. However, all other regiments taking part in today's exercise have been equipped with live ammunition. So you intend to actually destroy the other tanks. It would hardly be a live fire exercise if we didn't. The current time is 1400 hours, right on schedule. We will now begin today's joint military exercise. Armored Divisions 4 and 5 commence combat operations. Glory to the Empire and to the Imperial Army. Begin. Yes, sir. 5th Armored Division. Armored Regiment will advance first. Armored Car Regiment and Infantry Regiment follow their lead. 4th Armored Division. Armored Regiment and Infantry Regiment advance together. Armored Car Regiment, deployed to the left and right. Damn. Those tanks are nothing. It feels like we're at a sports game, like we're watching our kids at like a baseball game with these chairs and like the little whatever you call it. Wow, it's certainly potent. This is the kind of firepower it takes to fight a modern war. You said those tanks are called Axons? Yeah, they're a type of main battle tank the Reinford Company developed 2 years ago. I've seen their spec sheets, but seeing their power firsthand tells you what numbers and decimal points don't. They might be the strongest heavy tanks on the continent. And the Imperial Army's got a couple hundred of those in the wings, huh? Wow, Crow's not smiling. That's kind of crazy. You try fighting these things like these head on, you won't stand a chance. That's as true for our own nation as it is for others. Haha, I just can't get used to this. The sound of the artillery firing is enough to make me start shaking. I don't think that's something you should get used to, I mean. If the sound of guns and warfare ever stopped bothering you, I'd be worried. Read. I guess this is another kind of strength. Thus, the military exercise came to an end. The 4th Armored Division, led by Lieutenant General Craig, withdrew to an encampment near the fortress. Meanwhile, we returned to the fortress where Major Neidhart outlined the results of the training exercise. After that, I mean, it looks like the sun's going down, so it might be the end of the first day. Yep. So the first day of us here was literally nothing. It was literally just, we watched that and we're done. Alright, well. Sorry you had to wait for us to finish. Don't worry about it, we're the guests here after all. Thank you for your consideration. At the very least, I'd say dinner's a million times better than lunch was. I mean, it's hash beef day. Haha, that's an Imperial Army tradition, isn't it? Ooh, just the smell's making me hungry. Oh yeah, where'd your instructor go? She's a real looker. I was hoping you had a chance to talk to her. She went to the to see the fortress commander with Instructor Neidhart. She did ask us to eat without her tonight. Alright, well, if she's with Major Neidhart, it's hard to compete with those guys from the 4th Armored Division. It'd be enough if they just had Craig the Red, but they've got the Major, too, and he's kind of scary. Haha. Like a division of muscle men. Anyway, we shouldn't keep you tied up any longer. Your hash beef's gonna go cold. See you tomorrow, guys. It definitely does look more like food than lunch did. Wow, it's actually delicious. It's like night and day compared to what we had for lunch. You're telling me. Aw, come on, guys. What's with all the gloomy faces? You think you guys might have had a bit too rosy of an outlook? What were you expecting to see out there? I'm sure you can understand at least a little of how we feel. It's like, has everything we've learned in our time at the academy been for nothing? Academics, the arts, individual skills in combat. None of those matters in the slightest in real warfare, do they? It's true. If all you're looking to do is fight a war, you don't need any of those. All you need is plenty of troops at your command, the latest weaponry, and overwhelming firepower. Assuming you know the tactics to use them well, and a strategy that employs them effectively, I suppose. The Akzens are even more powerful than I was expecting them to be, too. I remember my mother boasting about their capabilities when she was trying to sell them to the army 2 years ago, but to be honest, I'm feeling somewhat disheartened as well. I can't see there being a place for swords on the battlefield with weapons like those on the front lines. Why does Milliam look so angry? Well, I don't think that means individual combat skill doesn't matter at all. Still, I think we've been misunderstanding something important all this time. What we saw in that military exercise was power in its purest form. It has no morality of its own. It exists to bring about a result regardless of the ideals or principles of those who wield it. That's true. In a sense, the same could be said of a sword and a gun. And all the way up to something as huge as Guerrilla Fortress's railway guns, too. I think I finally understand why they wanted us to watch that military exercise in the first place. They could have taught us in a less roundabout fashion. Well, looks like he didn't wait for me to start the party. Instructor Sarah? So you spoke with the commander? Sure did. I've got up-to-date info about the trade conference, too. As well as the latest on the terrorists. So there's new info about the Imperial Liberation Front? Before I get to that, let me explain what you'll be doing tomorrow. In the morning, you're scheduled to participate in the Imperial Army's physical fitness training. In the afternoon, you'll be attending a special lecture where I'll bring you up to speed on the info I just mentioned. After that, you've been granted special permission to view the railway guns. I see. Looking forward to that. Sounds like we got a pretty packed schedule. Well, we did bring you all the way here, so we might as well make the most of it. Every nation possesses power in the form of a military, whether that be a military as large or small. Guerrilla Fortress just happens to have that power in a very striking, easy-to-understand form. As students of a military academy, you have an obligation to know the scale of that power. The Empire of Erebonia wields, at present, a power you may one day be in charge of yourselves. What? Hehe. Anyway, even a meeting that long couldn't keep me from trying to be the... from trying the famous hash beef rice. I've heard it's the only decent food they have around here, so I've been looking forward to this all day. We should probably finish eating. Yeah, although it's gotten a bit cold now. Maybe I'll go and ask for seconds. Oh, Eustace, if you don't want the rest of yours, can I have it? I'd sooner throw it away than give it to you. Well, there you have it. Well, it does sound like we have a really packed day tomorrow. Click, click. Okay, that should do it. Alright, that covers today's quota. Phew, I'm looking forward to a nice long bath. Well, you know how every time there's a military exercise coming up, the workload gets pretty crazy like this. Still, at least managing inventory has gotten a lot easier thanks to the OrbitalNet. They've got everything hooked up on the network over in Crossbell, right? Wish the Empire would get on that a little more. As long as you don't have Ren hacking your stuff. Think of the utility. Well, from the sound of it, you need special equipment to send signals through a wired connection to make use of it. And considering the size of the Empire, it's probably going to be a while before it's widespread thing here. Huh? An orb mail? Looks like it's from HQ. You've got to be kidding me. This right here has to be the problem with the OrbitalNet. There's no such thing as off hours when they can just send you orders round the clock. Huh? What's going on? So get this, they're planning on doing some extra exercise tomorrow. This means we gotta outfit 20 accents with C units by tomorrow. 20! Seriously? Might as well start up another pot of coffee. We're in for an all-nighter for sure. Do we even have that many C units left? Actually, a lot came in by freight just this evening. Exactly 20, if you can believe it. Guess we'll just have to get it done. Crap, at least let us take a shower. I'm gonna head down to the mess hall and grab some snacks. You want anything? That obviously has to have some kind of relevance for what's happened. They wouldn't just show us that random scene if it didn't have something to do with what's gonna happen. Alright, but I think this is definitely a good stopping point. The fact that they're letting us save right here means that we're probably gonna be busy for a while, so I think we'll stop here. So that's gonna be it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe more if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.